Hi, this is Bishop Andrew Randall with your legal moment. You know, I'm a fan of Marvel movies, and one of my favorite series of movies was The Dark Knight. The character in The Dark Knight Rises particularly was a gentleman by the name of Bane. There was a scene in the movie where there was a gentleman who had contracted with Bane to perform various criminal acts, and he'd gotten into an argument with Bane, and he instructed someone to do something, and Bane said, "Don't do it." And the man said, "I'm in charge here." And Bane then put his hand around the man's neck and he asked this question: do you feel in charge? Who's in charge is an issue that's of considerable importance when it comes to the operation of ministry. And there are various forms of authority that determine how a ministry operates. Of course, there's the congregational model, where employment decisions and even expenditures are decided by a vote of the church. You might be familiar with this if certain expenditures even require a church meeting just to discuss everything that goes on in the church. Another model is the board function, whether that's a trustee board or a deacon board, that all hiring and firing responsibilities are vested with them, as well as expenditures. All things have to run through one of those entities. And then thirdly, there is the pastoral model, where the pastor effectively is the president and CEO of the organization and operates really with sort of advice and consent. In other words, he has experts that are the treasurer, that are trustees, that are people that form a board, and they advise. But ultimately, that leader would make the decision with the consent of the group that he or she has cobbled together. It's important for you as a leader, it's important for your church to consider, what is the model? And I would say this, that the model that may have historically been used may not be the model for today. So it's important, if you're leading a church or you're a leader in a church, to consider the authoritative model by which the church is run. Who is in charge?